You play with it. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, it should be playing.
Okay, I got it.
Hi, yeah, normally I would be doing a video of this in my actual apartment, but as I've mentioned before, we are moving, and we're actually moving tomorrow, so I've packed up all of our equipment. So right now we're just getting out of the theater from Black Panther. You go ahead and start with your thing. Sorry, I'm trying to actually get out of the parking garage.
No, you should start.
Okay, so...
I didn't really get to hear much of his opinion anyway.
Okay, so, Black Panther is simply... It takes place probably just a couple of weeks after Captain America Civil War. At this point, T'Challa's father, the original king of Wakanda, has been dead for a couple of weeks. So the first thing that happens when the movie opens is that he's crowned king. And around this time, they're trying to get back some vibranium stolen in the past by Ulysses Claw, played by Andy Serkis, and one person who has hired him is Eric Killmonger, played by Michael B. Jordan. And Eric Killmonger has been wronged in the past by T'Chaka, the original king, or at least his family has been, and the whole thing is about the struggle between T'Challa, the Black Panther, and Eric Killmonger for the throne. So where should we start with this? And don't just focus the camera on me, because I feel like if I focus on the camera too much, I'm gonna crash.
No, you can just talk.
Okay, so first off, I will say the story was okay. The first half of the movie was a little bit of a slow burn, and it did actually feel, I agreed with you earlier.
It was very cookie cutter. It was very tame.
It felt cookie cutter compared to the rest of the movie, and then when the second half hits, it becomes really great. That was when you start to notice that it's a Ryan Coogler film.
The movie, for me, really started to pick up during a particular fight scene that you'll see, and it kind of reminded me of Lion King. It was very climactic, and it was very effective.
Live the king.
That's what I felt like.
Shit. I don't know. There were a few. Okay, I'll actually first do. I'll start with positives. So first was the overall story was good. I mean, the second half is where it really picks up. It becomes really interesting. You start to become more invested emotionally in the entire experience and story and in the characters. And I mean, Chadwick Boseman, we already knew he was going to give a great performance because he gave a really good one in Captain America Civil War. But the sad part was that I wasn't as emotionally invested in his character because they didn't really focus on
Marvel actually went a different route this time. Like, people always complain about, like, and the one thing in Marvel movies that the majority of everyone can agree on is that their villains are very underdeveloped, and so the movie actually decided to flip-flop it this time around and give more development to the villain. Not necessarily more screen time, but more development as opposed to our hero. And so
we were rooting for the villain the majority of the time.
Yeah, the villain was like the best part, honestly.
He was. Eric Killmonger is the best, in my opinion, the best MCU villain since Loki, and actually may even be better
to me,
Loki.
He's better.
Yeah, and I mean, it helps because Michael B. Jordan is such a talented actor, and he works his best with Ryan Coogler, who, this is his third film with Ryan Coogler. He was in Fruitvale Station and the Rocky spin-off Creed, which I love. I absolutely love Creed, and I was happy when they announced that Michael B. Jordan would be joining Ryan Coogler in this. A lot of people have been overhyping the Kendrick Lamar music, which it's good, but it's overhyped. It's not as good as people say it is.
I actually thought it was great.
It's great. It's just it's way too overhyped. No, what should have been...
That's because Kendrick Lamar really appeals to a lot of people.
True, but what should have actually been talked about was the score. It was very tribal in nature, and the one bit that I loved the percussion all throughout. And... yeah, hold on, I'm merging.
Okay, I'll take it from here.
Sure.
Okay, so while the movie kind of while it was kind of lagging in some parts that a movie usually needs to keep it going, the very consistent, and it actually got better and better as the movie went on. Like, you'd think that one piece was really good and that nothing else could top it, and then it would just keep increasingly getting better, especially during the particular fight scene that we were talking about a little earlier.
Oh, that one was beautiful.
I feel like that one was the best one because I actually felt more invested in that scene than I did in any other part throughout the whole movie. And it was only one scene.
And speaking of fight scenes, there's not really many fight scenes in there. I counted like 4?
4?
No, including that chase scene.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to count.
The first one was kind of cookie cutter. The problem was that I couldn't see anything because it was so dark.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand what was going on except for like the very last part.
It was a shame because they totally could have done so much more with it than they did.
Could have. And then there was there was like an initiation sort of thing. That one was shot and edited kind of strange. And actually, speaking of that scene made me realize that the visual effects in this movie were not as fine as previous MCU movies. There was actually a point where it would show a bunch of people on a rock wall just cheering, and you could tell by the way that they were moving it was CGI. And
also,
at first
some of the water was horribly rendered too.
Yeah. But that wasn't my issue. Like, the water wasn't. It was all the people, because they kept showing us the people over and over again. It was just so jarring.
Yeah, but like for like one particular moment, like it's a ship landing, and it's overheading water, and it looks really bad. It looks badly rendered, I would say. A lot of it felt like it was mostly in a set format, and it wasn't really on location.
That one wasn't a set. That one wasn't a fucking set.
I know, but like there were some places where it actually felt like they were just on a set, and there really wasn't more to the world, because it just felt like they were standing in front of a backdrop, like they were just standing in front of a green screen. It was kind of disappointing to me.
Yeah. The visuals aren't as bad as Justice League. Like, they're still more serviceable.
Which is kind of weird, because a lot of people kept saying this is one of Marvel's best looking movies, if not their best looking
Whenever
movie.
it was like a production set, the production actually looked really good. I will say that. Like, in his sister's lab, his sister is amazing. I really liked her, and she's supposedly smarter than Tony Stark. I could kind of see it.
Yeah.
Like in her lab, in the throne room was my favorite looking set.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Also, Marvel's usual, Marvel's distinct humor, like a lot of corny jokes, or some more modern jokes that they make to make it stand out. It didn't feel as authentic as it usually does in a Marvel movie, where it's expected. There was actually a couple times where it relied on modern day memes.
No, I swear to God, there's actually a joke in there referring to, what are those?
I was pissed.
And I was really getting into the scene, because up to that point they were kind of doing a bit of...
You got less than 2 minutes on
Okay,
this.
that's fine. It was doing a bit of world building, and I thought that was cool, like character development.
Yeah.
And then his sister just goes, what are those? And
I know, I'm like...
Are you kidding me?
Thank you, modern day to 2017. Thank you. Even though it's 2018 now.
And actually, speaking of the, I just thought about the fight scenes. Okay, one last thing before I do our overall recap. They do a bit of weird things with the fight scenes. Like, there are parts where they should have shown blood. Like, somebody was... You actually see somebody's neck gets sliced. Yeah, slit. And no blood. And I'm sitting there like, why?
Where's the blood?
Where's the blood?
I came for blood.
Okay, overall, it was a serviceable movie overall.
It wasn't great.
The first half did drag a bit. I did like the world building in that part.
The villain was phenomenal.
The villain was phenomenal. Like, I actually felt really moved by Michael B. Jordan's performance and just how the character was written.
Sadly was not given enough screen time.
And by the way, Andy Serkis as Ulysses Claw, very entertaining, although they didn't utilize him to the best of his abilities.
You had Andy Serkis, and what'd you do?
Okay, 20 seconds. There are 2 credit scenes, the mid-credit scenes, after credit scenes. After credit scene, it sets up for Infinity War, and then the other one actually sets up for the implications of Wakanda and the rest. Okay.
And cut.
Shit, we're going. Okay, bye.
Bye.